What's up, guys? We are back with another episode with the mad scientist of Jet. I'll let him get into that why it is or why I call him that. Let him introduce himself for it. Go for it.
What's up, guys? My name's Andruw. I'm a coach at Jet. Just graduated from the U of A with my degree in neuroscience.
That is why, folks. And I asked that why because this goes in my first question. Because I asked you about DC, Marvel. You're like the Iron Man, Doctor Doom of like Jet. So let me ask you this. Pick your top 5 DC characters and top 5 Marvel characters.
You know, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I already do because I'm a lot more of a DC guy than I am a
But
Marvel.
just how, brother? There has not been a good DC movie since Batman 10 years ago. What's your case?
You gotta understand though, and then the folks listening at home, you gotta understand too. When I was growing up, early 2000s, I was born 2003. Marvel was not really a thing.
They had Spider-Man. They had,
but that was just that very few. Marvel didn't have the TV shows. They didn't really have the comics. They didn't have the games. They still don't.
True.
But the DC had the rest of those. I grew up on like Justice League, Teen Titans.
Ooh, I forgot about that one. Teen Titans on Cartoon Network.
The Batman animated series. I grew up on all that stuff. So that's why that's there. And I stay loyal to this day, even if they haven't repaid me much. But in terms of top 5, it's just hard. DC, let's go Batman. Gotta go Superman. Let's go Martian Manhunter. That's a good one.
Okay.
Martian Manhunter. Clayface was always a favorite of mine. Clayface and Hush are probably two of my favorite villains.
Okay.
And then in terms of Marvel, it's gonna be hard. We gotta throw Thanos in there.
You're throwing that dude in there.
But I mean, like
the Barney lookalike.
He made the movie though.
True.
He made that movie. We gotta throw Thanos in there just for the respect. Obviously, Iron Man, Hulk. I'm blanking on who else was there.
Oh man, that's sad. You got Thor, WandaVision, Vision.
You're gonna hate me, and honestly, will probably hate me too. I have not watched any of that stuff on Disney.
So I'm guessing you hasn't watched the Fantastic Four or anything like.
I haven't watched it yet.
All right, man. I'm gonna hit that trombone sound for the sound effects later. But I kind of made that joke because you're one of the most brilliant guys we have here with your degree.
Appreciate it.
You've done research on it. You presented research.
Yeah.
But I want to know who you were before all that. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to high school? And what sports were you playing?
So I'm originally from San Jose, California, in the Bay Area. For those of you that don't know where that is, if you know where San Francisco is on the map, if you go about 30, 40 minutes down from San Francisco, that's where San Jose is.
Yeah.
So that's the heart of the Silicon Valley. That's where all your tech giants are. So I grew up there, went to high school at a place called Bellarmine College Prep. Very lucky to be able to have gone there. It's one of the best schools in California, bar none. And, because of that, I was able to compete at a high athletic level. I played football, threw in track and field. And, I mean, those are really the experiences that formed me, man, because especially in the league we played in, it was no joke.
Tell us a little bit about the league. What schools are up there? That way the audience can know exactly how crazy that conference was to compete at.
Yeah, so, I mean, we were playing against schools like Junipero Serra, Archbishop Reardon, St. Ignatius, St. Francis, Archbishop Minnie. Just to put into perspective there, I think everyone knows the school De La Salle. They had a movie made about them. So De La Salle, they're very famous. They had this winning streak going on for I think 25 or 20 years, where they didn't lose to a school that was in Northern California.
Yeah,
they
or any school because they had like 100 and some game.
Yeah, win streak, they had that win streak, but that win streak extended to Northern California schools. There was like a 300 game win streak where they didn't lose to a school in Northern California.
Oh shoot!
One of the schools in my league, St. Francis, they ended that streak.
Oh, so they were like when they had that movie or whatever, they were the team that ended that streak?
No. This was like in 2022, 2023. But
so that should just barely end it.
Yeah, well, they had there is the streak where they won all their games.
Yeah.
They even won a state championship. But so how California works is that you go through the playoffs and you have a NorCal championship and a SoCal championship. They won that NorCal championship every single year. They didn't lose to a team in that area. But they got into a state championship. Maybe they lost to like a Mater Dei or whatever.
Yeah.
So they didn't lose to any Northern California team. That St. Francis team, which is my rival school, they finally snapped that streak.
Oh, shit. Did you ever get close to did you play them at all? Or
No, we thought we were going to play them 1 year, and I was scared. I'm not going to lie. So that was one of the teams we played. Another team we played called Junipero Serra. They've dominated the Northern California scene for the past 5 years,
Yeah.
I think.
What do you think make those teams so good so they're able to win so many years in a row?
Talent, and they have the best coaches out there.
Yeah.
I mean, especially De La Salle, they've had that continuation of that philosophy that got them to that win streak. That pipeline has stayed there the whole time. So I mean, that culture that they had back in the early 2000s, the exact same they have now.
Yeah.
And then looking at a team like Sarah, that coach Patrick Walsh, he's got that program right. I don't know what his secret sauce is, but I mean, he's been there forever, and he's just a guru.
Yeah,
He just
a little legend up there in North Cal.
Oh, definitely. If you guys want to take a little coaching dive into it, go look at Patrick Walsh. He's one of the greats.
Got some homework for you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so you go to high school, you have some ups and downs. Talk a little bit about that, how you went through that, because there's so many times as an athlete, you get hurt, it affects your whole life, school, at home life. How were you able to avoid that while still getting through high school and going on to the U of A?
I mean, shoot. I mean, I don't know what didn't happen to me in high school. I mean, freshman year, I broke my foot the day before our first game during walkthrough.
How do you break your foot during a walkthrough?
It wasn't really a break. It was more so like a stress fracture. So like I had been kind of like dealing with it a little bit, but I mean I didn't pay any mind to it because like, at the end of the day I could still walk.
Yeah.
So, it was whatever. But it had been hurting, and I remember vividly we were going through like our hurry up, like our tempo stuff. So we were just play after play after play, and I lined up at left guard, and we had called the toss play, and so I was the lead. So I was the lead blocker on that. So I go to the pool, I take my steps. As soon as I plant my right foot to go into the hole to go block the linebacker, the foot breaks. It explodes. Man. And so I'm hopping through the rest of warm-ups. And then I go to urgent care that night, and they break the news to me that I fractured my foot. I show up the next day at the bus. I tell the coach I can't go because I can't even walk on it. So, I mean, there went my freshman season, and then bounced back. I was able to be healthy for my sophomore year, and then going into my junior year, I've been dealing with pain in my ankle up to then because I think prior to high school, I had sprained my right ankle about 3 or 4 times already.
Jeez.
So I was there. So, I mean, that hadn't affected me too much, but I was already dealing with that. But by the time I got to my sophomore year, my ankle was done.
Yeah.
I remember the doctor telling me and my mom pretty vividly after an MRI that the ankle was basically string cheese at that point. That at any time, the whole thing could just snap. Tendon. It could go.
Did you keep going with football at that point, or did you start making the decision to kind of go a different direction?
Oh no, I kept going. I went until the very end. I mean, I had to get it redone completely. I had to get an anchor put in there.
Oh,
so I got an anchor in my ankle right now. So I had to rehab through that my junior year, and then I came back for senior year. I didn't let that stop me. I kept going because I mean, not only was I fortunate enough to be able to play in that league because it was a lifelong dream of mine to be able to compete at that level.
Yeah.
So not only did I want to chase that, but also, I mean, football was my life. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
I mean, I had tried baseball up to that point. My dad was a coach, so he tried to get me in while I was young, and it never stuck. But, my uncle, he was a high school football coach. He coached the offensive line, and so he had always, like, playfully, like, tried to bring me into it, not really thinking I would, like, really get into it. But, at some point, I was just a big kid. They didn't really know what to do with me, so they just stuck me in football, and that's kind of where I found my home. Yeah, so
that's incredible, man. You talk about having a rehab your junior year.
Yeah.
What were the lows like, man? Because I've had Isaiah, and I've talked about it myself.
Yeah.
When you're hurt, man, there's so many different things going through your brain. And like, is this worth going back to? Who are the people that help you get back, and what was your mindset like as well?
I mean, it was like my family. They were definitely a support system because, I mean, they knew what it was like. They saw me through all the seasons. They saw me that first day I got back from surgery. They saw me have to be laid up on the couch because, like, I couldn't even walk around the house. I was in a cast for maybe, like, 2-3 weeks. So I was crutching around the house. They were helping me out, any way they could. They saw me when I was trying to still barely walk. They saw me maybe when I was trying to push things a little too far, when I was trying to get back sooner than I should have. They were there for me. They knew how much it meant to me, and they gave me that support. But also, I mean, like, just my teammates and my friends. So, I mean, they always saw, the extra work I tried to put in. As soon as the moment they let me get back into a pair of shoes without a boot, I was trying to get back onto the field, hitting bags, going through my pass protection drills, run blocking drills, even if it's on there, I was still trying to do whatever, and they saw that. I think they appreciate it, and they passed that love along to me, and so there are even points where I couldn't go to practice or workouts just because I was still having to be home just to rest my ankle.
Yeah.
After practice, some of them they would stop by, say what's up, maybe play some games for a bit. They bring me food, so just that love, that brotherhood that we had. I think that's what really carried me through because at the end of the day, I really want to do it to get back out there with them.
Yeah, doing it for your team, man.
Yeah, of course.
So that happened. How did your senior year go?
It went okay. That was during COVID, so that was a very interesting time.
Oh, wait, so you guys got stuck with the COVID year?
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, 2020 was like COVID year. That was my senior year.
Oh, man. So how many games did you guys get in?
I think we got 5 games.
That's
plus,
it?
Plus a scrimmage. Well, so we were lucky because we have a director of sports medicine, Mark Moreno, back in my high school. He's still there. Great guy. But we got lucky where he was able to strike a deal with the county health director where he basically made our school like a guinea pig for all the other schools.
Nice.
So we were able to like still hold workouts and like do all that stuff, just to basically as like a trial run for the rest of the county. So we still had workouts. We were still going like 6 feet apart, masks up the whole time. There was at a certain point where we just said F it. We didn't go 6 feet apart anymore.
Yeah.
But don't tell the county I said that. But we were lucky. We were very lucky in that sense where we were still able to go through our winter workouts, our summer workouts without, too much of a hitch compared to everyone else. So we were still going through that. And then once that springtime hit, we were full go. It was a strange time, not only because of COVID, but also because at my high school, the varsity coach my junior year, he had been there for I want to say 30 or 35 years at that point. And going into as soon as that season ended, he retired. And so we were not only having to navigate COVID, but also having a fully new staff.
Yeah.
And for those of you football savants out there, we were running what they call the double wing. So we were running the ball 50, 60 times a game. Oh, we're doing nothing but running the ball. None of us ever learned how to pass ball.
Didn't like the passing game?
No, they're not a big passing team. So not only having to adjust new coaching staff, COVID, but also new scheme too, because this coach he wanted to throw the ball, which we all liked. We actually lobbied for him to get the head coaching job, and he ended up getting it. Yeah. But trying to navigate all that was a whirlwind, and then we had to sit out. I had to sit out of the game because we were literally in quarantine.
Oh man, you got the bug a little bit.
No, I didn't get it. It was because one of our offensive linemen, he had tested positive, and apparently I was too close to him at some point. Hey, I did a drill with him.
Should have stayed 6 feet apart.
Oh shit, maybe we should. It was kind of hard to do that in the trenches, but
yeah.
But I mean, I guess he got it, so like it was like I think 30 of us had to go into quarantine.
Oh man.
So we had one of the games they played with like 20 guys. So they had like tight ends going in the offensive line. They were calling up random sophomores. We somehow won that game.
Yeah. Oh dang, that shows how good you guys were.
I don't know if we were good or just resilient, but that was a whirlwind of a season.
Yeah, kind of talk about how hard. Cause I want to go in this too, cause we can relate on this. Cause I was in California when COVID was going on. I was playing school up in Humboldt. If you know about Humboldt, don't look it up if you don't. What were the challenges you faced during that time, just as an athlete?
I mean, I wouldn't say I faced as many challenges as others, just because of the fact that we were able to go through those workouts, and even then, we were holding Zoom workouts.
Oh dang!
Like I'm talking 6 a.m.
How do Zoom workouts work like that?
They're interesting. So I mean, like it would be like we'd have like 2 groups. You have the 6 a.m. group and the 7 a.m. group. I think I got stuck in one of them. I remember, but like we would hop on the Zoom call with our strength coach.
Yeah.
And we would have to like set up our surfaces so our cameras could see like our whole body.
Yeah.
And he would tell us like the workouts to do.
Hey, you just had to adjust to move on at that point.
Yeah, we're just adjusting, moving on, and I mean like. Just random stuff like that. We just kept finding ways to do stuff, whether it's the 6 feet apart workouts or the Zoom workouts, or I mean, even myself too. I mean, I live down the street from a high school field, so I was going over there almost every day and just working on my craft however I could, whether that was conditioning or just working on my skill work. Sometimes even some of me and my boys, we go to like some of the high school fields and we just run one-on-ones together.
Yeah.
Just working on stuff together and just trying to adjust to the new scheme. So I mean. I don't think I faced as many challenges as other people, thankfully, but we always found our ways.
Yeah. Sometimes I think Dana White said this too. You got to look at adversity as a privilege.
Yeah.
And like kind of what you're saying, having to adjust, trying to find ways to get better.
Yeah.
That's life in a sense because you're always trying to have to adjust with your situation to still find a way to get better.
Of course.
Yeah. So you did that, got through your senior year. What went in the decision to hanging up the cleats and going to the University of Arizona?
I mean, it was definitely a decision because at that point I had a few D3 offers and was talking to a few D3 coaches, and one of them that I really got in the weeds with that I was really looking at was Whittier College because kind of taking a backtrack a little bit, I never really went on the college tours.
You didn't?
No. I mean, I didn't. COVID hit, so I didn't have time to.
You're right.
So the only time I went on a college tour was my high school had this program set up for first generation kids where they would take us on like a SoCal trip that was fully funded by the alumni. And they put us up in they put us up in different hotels, and then we network with like different alumni on campus or just in the Southern California area. And so that's the only time I really went on college tours.
Yeah.
So we went on tours of places like Chapman, UC Riverside, Occidental College, different colleges down there in Southern California.
Was this just for students or was it for student athletes?
No, it was just for students in general. So yeah, it wasn't really student athlete oriented. But one of the colleges that really stuck with me down there was a place called Whittier College. And, I learned that they had a football team. And so I liked the college first and the education that they offered. And then I found they had a football team after. So for me, that was obviously, I thought that was the perfect fit. And then, as time went on, I kind of had to try and reevaluate because my original goal going into college was I wanted to go in as a pre-med because I wanted to go to med school.
Yeah.
And just looking at the opportunities offered at Whittier and the time I realistically would have had to build up the resume you need to apply to med school, trying to do that in football at a smaller school like that where the research opportunities aren't really there, I just knew it really wouldn't work long term. So
yeah, that's an adult decision right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard decision. I more than anything wanted to play college football and wanted to be in college athletics, but it just wasn't in the cards. So yeah, at the end of the day, I just ended up coming out here.
Yeah. You said something really cool, which I didn't know about, but you said first generation. So you're first generation college graduate?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that decision work out to make sure you went to college? Because my dad, my dad was blessed to be a teacher for 35 years.
Yeah.
I've been around his life and his journey in education. And sometimes for first gen, it's a hard road to even get to college.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit of what went into your decision of making sure you went to college.
I mean, that was always, it was my family's goal. I mean, not even just for me, just for all of my siblings.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the youngest of three. I mean, my sister, she didn't end up going to college, but my brother, he actually went to Arizona State for a year.
Okay.
We won't talk about it.
So it's a bad time. I said it before. I'm a Sun Devils fan, so.
Yeah, no, okay, we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, like interview over.
Yeah, interview over. But no, it was always their goal. I grew up with my grandparents in my house, so it was always their goal from the top down to get us all educated. So, and luckily in California, there's really good education systems out there to serve first generation kids looking to take that route. So, ever since, even from elementary school, we always felt supported because even in elementary school, even if it's just in your after school programs or just during the day, they really try to push on you to go to college.
Yeah.
They'll bring in college students. Teachers will talk about their college experience. You have banners hanging up all over the wall. They really try and push you to take that path because they know the power that degree holds. So I mean, it's always been from day one, try and find any way that we can to, try and get me ready and, get me to college.
Yeah, so they're always throwing that seed at a young age.
Yeah, whether it's from my family or from, my teachers or, my school, it's stuff coming at you left and right.
Yeah.
So
that's incredible. Now you pick University of Arizona.
Yeah.
Why was Tucson? Because to be honest, bro, I love California. If I could stay in California, I would. But why of all places? But let me say, I love Tucson. But why did you pick Tucson, Arizona to be your home?
Well, don't get me wrong. I love California with all my heart, and especially San Jose after leaving. I love it to death. But at the end of the day, I knew that wherever I went to college, I wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
Just over the summer. Just because, especially when it comes to pre-med and the intensity that trying to build that resume requires, you have to sacrifice some of those summers. And I knew that wherever if I happen to stay in California, whether I went to school in SoCal or I just stayed up and went to San Jose State, that wouldn't really be an option, just because not only because some of the research opportunities aren't as plentiful, but also because just realistically, it's not feasible for my family to support me trying to, pay a California living wage.
It's a lot cheaper down here.
It's a lot cheaper down here to do that. So, I mean, between, all the programs that U of A offer, not only that, but they offered a neuroscience degree, which is something that really interested me, and not many places offered it. So that was start of it, but also, the cost of living down here is a little lower. So, I could realistically stay out here. The research opportunities were plentiful. So, I mean, looking back at it, it's kind of a no-brainer to come out here.
Yeah. So your freshman year comes after your first semester, you have the opportunity to start working with the football team.
Yeah.
How did that come together, and what kind of experience was that? Because you got to go to a couple ball games.
Oh, well, only one, but still, that was a
You
whirlwind.
still won it, though.
Yeah. Well, so that was kind of funny how that came together because, again, I love, more than anything in the world, I love college football. Even when I was a kid, I spent my Saturdays watching every game I could.
San Jose fan, or?
No, people might hate me, but I was actually an Alabama fan. I have a very
Bagwagon.
no, self-admitted bandwagon. Totally. My reasoning behind this is because all my professional sports teams are absolutely god awful.
All right, what are they?
The Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, both of them god awful. St. Louis Cardinals were good in like the mid 2010s. Now, not so much.
They should have traded Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, we should have done a lot of things. But we should have got a pitcher a few years ago, but that's the point.
You had Adam Wainwright, an old man Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, 40 years old, still kicking. But yeah, so they were good. Not really so much more. Red Wings, they were also good at the prime, but again, no one really cares about hockey outside of.
I had to go with the evil empire college football, though.
Yeah, I mean, my idea was that like they were the best, and I didn't really want to root for San Jose State because they weren't doing so hot at that time.
Yeah.
So I mean, why not watch the best every Saturday? Any chance you can.
You're
get.
right.
But I mean, again, I love college football more than anything. I spent my childhood, watch as many games as I can, following Alabama religiously. Watching all the bowl games, all the obscure ones, all the Bahamas bowls and the Pop Tarts bowls. I eat it up. Even the video games too. I played those games to death.
Okay, I'll tell you this. Once we're gonna do a couple more changes too, but eventually there's gonna be a segment of the podcast where we pull up video games right here.
Okay.
So like if someone mentions that, I'll be like, all right, let's run it.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm too big of a gamer. But that was my life. I loved it. That was always my dream, to work in college football, and I knew that going into U of A, I wanted to somehow get my foot in the door, hell or high water. I was gonna get in. So.
How did you get in?
So my freshman year, I was in this place called the Physiology Club, which is like a pre-med centered club, and that club offers different opportunities for students to, just learn more about the university, get involved in community. And so one of those opportunities was a tour of the campus health facility and also the football facility, because I believe she's now the director of physical therapy at campus health, but she was originally athletic trainer for U of A football. So I saw that, and I instantly hopped on the opportunity as soon as I can get it. So we ran that. She gave us a tour, and she ended up giving us a tour of not the entire facility, but at least like the athletic training room. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
I was in love.
They got a bunch of cool stuff over there, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got a lot of toys. But she had made an offhand comment about the fact that there are actually student workers for the sports medicine team, and that they always accept volunteers and the chance to get hired. And she had mentioned that even though the volunteering cycle already passed by then, because it was already like mid-October, that you could always reapply back in the spring. And so I annoyed her mercilessly via email. I was like at least like once every 2 weeks an email just reminding her that I exist, trying to get into contact with whoever runs that volunteer program.
Yeah.
And I kept annoying her, and eventually, I think it was around like February of my second semester freshman year, she finally put me into contact with the guy who was running the program. His name was Paul Smith. He was formerly our head's sports med guy. He recently moved on to be the head at Yale, so congrats to him. But he got my foot in the door. He allowed me to volunteer, and it's history from there.
Yeah.
That I spent the rest of my days with them.
What was your role? Like, what what does it look like to work with the sports medicine team?
So, as a student, you can hold a few different hats. Our main role is really just support at practice. And so my family always makes fun of me because I try and like talk it up. In reality, we're really just like water people.
Hey, you're there though.
But like we're there, and like our role really extends beyond that because like obviously our main job is to keep them hydrated and to make sure they don't overheat. But also, I mean, we have to make sure all their medicals are intact. I mean, we have to know, okay, this guy has sickle cell, this guy has something else that may make him more prone to heat sickness.
Yeah.
And then we also have to be ready for emergency situations. Luckily, I haven't been directly involved in one, but I've witnessed one. So we've always had to be ready for emergency situations. You know, you have to, can I throw like one swear word out there?
Yeah, we got a beeper for a reason.
Okay. You got to bust your ass out there.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when those summers come and fall camp hits, you're busting your butt everywhere to and from. And especially for me, because I like working with the offensive line, defensive line groups.
Yeah.
Those guys are a lot more prone to overheating than others for obvious reasons because they're 300 pounds. And so to take care of all those guys in the 115-degree Tucson heat, it's a hell of a role.
Yeah.
And so that's our main role at practice is just, busting our butts so those guys can stay on the field. And also in the training room too, we're helping out, doing our part with rehab and recovery, making sure our guys are taken care of, administering different kinds of treatment like cupping, scraping, massages, shockwave treatment, electrical stimulation therapy. We're deep in the weeds trying to keep these guys healthy and make sure they can make a whole season.
I mean, that's a benefit because you learn how to do all that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like it's just a good life skill to have, just to know all those recovery methods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happens. So you do that role for 3.5 years there, right?
Yeah.
And then you start doing research on another. I want to get into that because you presented your research. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, let's backtrack a little bit. So with the football team, I spent my 3.5 years there as a sports medicine tech, but then also I want to say it was winter 2024 after our staff left and we got that new staff in.
Yeah.
I actually started working with the strength and conditioning team too. So I did that for about.
Okay, so now you switch over to the strength and conditioning team?
Not a full switch over. I started doing both. I was double dipping.
Yeah.
But so I basically lived in that facility at that point. But yeah, I was double dipping. So
yeah, talk about that role a little bit. What are some things you picked up just learning at that level, at the Division I level?
What didn't I learn?
I mean, you're like, I got a whole book over this.
I had so many good mentors at that place. I mean, Matthew Gebert got me in the door. He's now at Auburn. Everything speed related that I know from him because he's an absolute guru when it comes to that. When it comes to plyometrics and different methods like RPR. He's one of the smartest people I know.
Yeah.
And so he gave a lot to me and taught me a lot. You got people there from the SEC, like, Brian Harper, who's now at Houston. He was at Texas A&M before he came to us. So, all his stories and everything he learned there. We had Blair Vaughn, who was probably one of the most excited to work with and then Blair Vaughn, who I was probably most excited to work with because he actually came from Army, West Point. And for those of you that don't know, Army West Point's football strength and conditioning is gospel.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the top strength and conditioning programs in the country. And so being able to learn from that and, just his philosophies and how he goes about things, that's probably one of the most formative experience I've been able to have. And all those coaches were just such great mentors to me.
Yeah.
And they taught me everything they know, not only about like the technical stuff and the programming stuff, but just, what it means to be a strength coach. And, I'm forever indebted to them for that.
Yeah. So get into your definition on that because that's your job now. What does it mean to be a strength coach?
Oh.
And I know I put you on the spot, but
it's trying to find any single little way that you can to make an athlete better physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Everyone at that level more or less has the same tech. Yeah. We all have VBT, we all have force plates, we all have 10As to some degree. We all have more or less the same stuff. But it's how you try and find that edge in your programming and also in how you can build that culture to try and get that extra step over your competition. Because, at the end of the day, I heard this at a different podcast, but the strength program is basically one of the most important programs in that football team. Because if you think about it, when the head coach gets hired, there's three roles that also immediately get hired: offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and head strength coach. So that program is, the lifeline of any Division I football team.
Yeah. I think it's important to realize too, a great strength coach, they're not just building muscles like on here, they're building the muscle up here as
Oh
well.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's a great experience you had there.
Yeah.
Now, at what point does Jets start coming in the picture?
That was more so as I was kind of leaving, just because, I can't stay there forever.
Yeah.
Gotta go find new things. And, I had known that it was been my plan to take a gap year, even, after medical school, or even when I was trying to apply to medical school, just, figure life out. Because I've been doing school for so long, you need a break at some point. So it was been my plan to, take a year, work, see what I want to do with my life. And then, kind of got to that point where, I knew that I wasn't going to do med school anymore, and I wanted to take more of the strength sports science route.
Yeah.
And, I was kind of shopping around. I was interviewing at different places, different facilities around here, sports performance facilities. And, some of them, they may have had more tech, they may have had more stuff, but none of them had the culture that Jet had, or the community. That was always a separator.
Yeah.
A lot of these places, they may have all the up-to-date stuff, like 15 racks or whatever, and they have all the science stuff. But none of them really had that community feel or that historical feel.
Yeah.
A lot of them, it just felt like people just kind of walk in, get their stuff in, listen to the coach, yeah, whatever, do their stuff, walk out.
Yeah, pay your fee, then get out, get in.
Pay your fee, get out, get in, whatever. But, here at Jet, it's really this is like a staple in the community. You have kids that have crawled in here since when they were 6 or 7, and they're walking out, college athletes.
Yeah.
There's very few places in the country that you see do that. So, I knew that not only just as an opportunity to, be a coach, but also develop as a coach, this was definitely the place for me to go.
Yeah, and you're brand new kind of, right?
Still new. I barely started in May.
Oh, shit. So we're kind of on the same timeline, but being part of the Jet family.
Yeah, definitely.
I trained here, but I know officially a part of the group now.
Yeah.
So you've been here since May. What are the keys that you've picked up from this group? Because one thing I had Evan in yesterday, and we were talking about how every single one on staff, we all have the same mindset. Is get the job done no matter what, and do it as fast as you can.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely the kind of the culture we have. You've seen, you've been through a workout too. Speed and efficiency are those are the kind of the poles of what we do. Do it as fast as you can, as efficiently as you can, and that'll kind of that'll carry you into whatever you do in life.
Yep.
So, for me, that's kind of what I always try and carry into all my workouts. Okay, how can we get the most out of the athlete in the most efficient way possible?
Yeah. That's awesome. So what groups are you with right now? What sports are you specifically doing, and what groups are you part of as well?
So I was doing almost every day the high school and middle school groups during the summer, but now since school year started, we kind of taper back. I mostly handle the Monday nights, the middle school and the high school classes. Yeah. And then I also have a baseball and softball team that I do on the side as well.
Oh, nice.
But obviously, if you can't tell from background, I'm mostly a football background.
Yeah.
And even more specifically into that, when it comes to the linemen, offensive and defensive line, that's my bread and butter when it comes to programming and coaching and knowing how to handle that.
Yeah. How does neuroscience have a degree in that? How about programming, getting the workouts per Pacific Sports and everything?
It can help in many ways. I really. The way I see my degree is a little different, because some people might see it as you have the prowess to understand what happens, not only physically but mentally, because that was when you do your neuroscience degree at U of A, you can pick an emphasis.
Yeah.
So you can either do cognition or neuroscience. I chose to emphasize in neurobiology, so a lot of my courses were geared towards that biological and anatomical aspect of how the mind and the body work in conjunction.
Yeah.
So, obviously I have that background, but also, it's really just a way of thinking. Just because when you're in that neuroscience space, you have to always dive in a lot deeper than you realize, because nothing's ever surface level. There's always something more to it. And so it's really just more so a way of thinking, of trying to dive in deeper and figure out how things really work, and what systems are at play, and how what muscle complexes are at play, to where we can get the most out of the athlete most efficiently.
Yeah.
Based on their timeline.
Yeah. No, that's incredible, man. Especially to have that background. I like the idea that you can, how the brain works and everything too. That's so big when it comes to sports.
Oh, definitely.
One thing that is also big in sports, and you probably learned this at the Division I level too, is in-season training.
Yes.
So many people, I've hated it too, because I remember being in club ball. They're like, hey, we're in season right now. Why are you still doing 2-a-days? Why is it so important for an athlete to train in season, and what are the benefits from it?
Because I mean, if you think about it this way, when you do your sport, it's really more so skill based. It's not really physical based.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're using your physical tools to make you better at that skill, but you're not specifically using any one physical skill or a physical trait. And so the reason why that's important is because it's really a use it or lose it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can do as much of the sport as you want, but if you're not putting in that work in the weight room to maintain your strength and power, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
And if when programmed correctly, there's people hitting PRs in season.
Yeah.
And that's a very real thing. So I mean, at the Division I level, that's the standard. There's 0 Division I teams across any sport in the country that aren't training in season.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's it's important to maintain that speed and power, because that's what fuels your physical traits on the field, which then fuels your skill traits, and it's all just one giant revolving circle. But if you take out one piece of that circle, it all falls apart.
I mean, if they do it at the Division I level, start doing it as a freshman in high school. Start preparing yourself to be already a Division I athlete by the time you get to there.
Yeah, I've always had the running joke, especially with my family. Like, when I tell them to do things, I'm like, look, if it works for the NFL people I work with, it'll work for you.
What do you tell a person when they come back and say, well, they're NFL athletes? Of course they have to do that.
I mean, that's a good question.
Because I don't care at this point. So I was a Miranda coach, and I was supposed to take over the strength and conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And we had this argument where I'm like, because I was blessed in the sense my uncle was a major league coach for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to sit there and watch everything.
Yeah.
And I'd go to his workouts. I'm like, bro, no, do not do it this way. No one does this at the highest level. And the argument was, well, they're at the highest level.
I mean, it's twofold, because on the one hand, there's certain stuff you can see online where you're like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, so-and-so is doing this. But you also understand that, like, some of these guys are absolute genetic freaks. Like, they can do absolutely whatever they want, and their muscles are going to respond to it. Yeah. So, I mean, you have to take it case-by-case basis. There's obviously, some stuff that I've seen where I'm like, I'm not going to do this with, like, a high schooler or middle schooler. But there's also some stuff out there that, I've personally seen, the NFL guys we work with do, where it's like, okay, this stuff, is the real deal. Let's do it. So it's really more so a case-by-case basis. I've been lucky where everything I've seen, I've witnessed with my own 2 eyes, has been stuff that's like, okay, this is legit. This is stuff that's applicable to anybody. Yeah. Obviously, programming and context dependent, but, most of the stuff is legit. But I mean, you can't do everything you see a professional athlete do, because, at the end of the day, some of them come out the womb running 4.4.
Yeah, and must be nice.
Yeah, it must be nice. I wouldn't know anything about that, but it's a case-by-case basis always.
I got you. So now, kind of finishing this up, kind of putting this in a circle. Why is Jet the best place for a young athlete to train?
Because they've been doing it for the longest. I mean, these guys are the gurus of youth training almost. I mean, for those of you guys that were there at Jet Day, they talked about the case of RJ. They took this kid, he was like 6 or 7, and now he's a 3-star recruit. So I mean,
he's coming in here right afterwards too.
Oh, he's coming in here right after
him and his dad.
I mean, that's not a mistake, and he's not the only case either. There's a lot of youth athletes that come in here. They don't even know they don't know their left foot from their right foot. Yeah. And then you watch them grow up and go into high school, and they're the top of the pack. Yeah. So I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find somewhere that knows how to do youth training better than here. Yeah.
Hey, like I said, go to Jet. Hey, so this is the fun part of the show. Oh God. It's a Deep Barber segment. Fire questions right now. All right. Dee's Barbershop is a sponsor of the show. Make sure you guys go check them out. That's where I get my haircut. All right. Favorite U of A football memory?
That's a tough one.
Got to pick one.
can only pick one.
You can only. Hey, it's a sponsor part of the show, bro. Gotta do it for the sponsors.
Oh my god, I have like 3. Oh god.
Pick one of your top 3.
I'll list my top 3 just to put it out there in the universe, and I'll pick one out of those 3. So my top 3 favorite memories are when I had the chance to go to Mississippi State during the 2023 season, and that was in the away game in Starksville. That was probably the best crowd I've ever been in, bar none.
Yeah.
Absolutely loudest place I've ever seen in my life. Second favorite memory was my first season there. We had the chance to go into the Rose Bowl versus UCLA when they were ranked, I think, like 15th in the country. They had like DTR and Zach Charbonnet. They were on the roll with Chip Kelly. We went into the Rose Bowl in LA and beat them.
Oh, dang.
And so we thought we had 0 shot. And then the second quarter ended. We were like, hang on, guys, can we do this? And we ended up winning.
Wait, I missed that. You said the U of A won a Rose Bowl?
No, so the UCLA plays in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, okay.
That's their home.
I heard those 2 words together. I'm like, because ASU has it, U of A doesn't.
Yeah, no, so yeah, no, UCLA plays in the Rose Bowl, so that's their home stadium. So
yeah, no,
being able to roll into a historic stadium and pull off that upset, that's
I just wanted to point out that they didn't have one.
Oh, okay. We're rolling into that too. I don't know if they have an Alamo Bowl, but that's if I have to choose a memory, I'll roll with the memory of me winning the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah,
because for those of you that remember that 2023 season, we were on a roll, and we were ranked. Every outlet was ranking us in the top 15, and we luckily had the opportunity to go play the Alamo Bowl against the Oklahoma Sooners, and even more so than that, I was very thankful they had the opportunity to go travel with them to go do so.
Yeah.
And so that was an experience like no other. I mean, just being, not only being able to have that experience and seeing the ins and outs of what really goes into a pole game, because there's a lot more that happens than you think. It's not just you show up there in the city for like 3 days, you play the game, get out. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of media stuff.
There's a lot of media stuff. You're doing stuff every day. Like, we were going like SeaWorld. We're going to like.
You guys get a bunch of stuff too, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got stuff.
What did you get? Because I remember being younger, hearing that like U of A players getting iPods and stuff like that.
Okay, well, we didn't get that much. I just got like a swag bag. I got like,
I
got like shoes. I got like different shirts. Got like hats.
That's every young athlete's dream. Just
Oh,
get that.
oh no, trust me, I was so. Oh, dude, I still wear some of that stuff. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we didn't get as much as them. They got way more. But yeah, just stuff like that. We got to go like a Spurs game for free.
Oh, nice.
It's just like stuff like that. We're fed. It's just being taken care of in that aspect. But not only that, but being able to go into a prestigious game. The Alamo Bowl growing up, that was always one of my favorite games because for whatever reason, that game was whoever matched up in that game, they just always had such a good game. Yeah. It was always a close game. I always loved watching Alamo Bowl growing up.
That's in San Antonio, right?
In San Antonio, in the Alamo Dome.
Hey, Texas is different, man, with football.
Oh yeah, and being able to be in the space that I grew up watching, not only to do that, but to do it against a team like Oklahoma that I also grew up watching, and that's just a legendary college football program. Being able to, be able to see the band on the field, and then they run out with the Sooner and the horse being led out with the cannons and stuff. Being able to be on the sideline and see that, that's the stuff. That's the stuff like younger me always dreamed about.
Dreams come true.
That whole day was a dream come true, and then not only having that, but winning the thing, and especially with the game like that where you had to come back and win it. Yeah, that's something I'll never forget. And
did you get a ring too at all, or
we were supposed to, but it's a different story.
Okay,
I did get a game ball though.
Okay, that's just as good, man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I still have that game ball up in my apartment. I'm never gonna let go of that thing. Yeah, but being able to do that and then hold up the trophy after, that was. Yeah.
Don't let anyone know where your apartment's at now.
Oh, no. You guys will never know. Don't worry. Yeah, I'll send you a picture, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. What's your guilty pump-up song in the gym? And I'm putting you on the spot because someone already told me what it was.
Someone told you?
Yeah, so what's your guilty pleasure song when you're in the gym?
It's hard to define guilty pleasure because, like...
Something like you're playing it and you turn your phone underneath because you don't want anyone to let you... to see you listening to it.
Oh, I turn my phone underneath regardless because some of the stuff I listen to is a little off kilter. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like if I'm lifting, if I'm going like a little heavier, I'll listen to like the rock and the rap. But like if I'm just going about my business, like I'll kind of listen to anything.
Not folklorico music?
No, Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's a different subject altogether. That's a different chapter of my life too. But no,
Yeah.
I won't listen to that while I work out. I listen to like jazz and like 60s, 70s soul music while I do it.
Yeah.
You know, I've done that.
Soul music. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. I'm a big soul guy.
Yeah, that's where we were late because when I was doing CrossFit,
Yeah.
that was the music I was listening to.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm a big soul guy while I work out, and just in general. So
Yeah, what's your guy? What's one of the artists you like from soul music?
really put me on the spot. I'm a big Altons fan right now. They're a little newer.
Yeah.
Duran Jones. He's a
Oh
little
man, I
newer
thought you were
too.
gonna say something like the Temptations or something.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
dude. Okay, I'm not going that slow in the gym. Yeah, we can definitely do the Temptations, Bee Gees. I definitely listen to them too. They really put me on the spot. I gotta pull up my playlist because it's not really like one artist I listen to. It's really just like I put on the Spotify radio and I just
Yeah.
let it go because like it's
oh
not
man, you're a Spotify guy.
a big Spotify guy.
Hey, Apple Music's where it's at, guys.
Okay, I don't know about that one. Don't listen to that one.
All right, best post workout meal.
Best post workout meal. That's a tough one. It's hard because sometimes I don't eat after I work out, which might not be a good thing. But if I had to choose one, does it have to stay like healthy? It can be
No,
whatever.
no.
I was gonna say it, and that's a really good post workout meal.
Dude, hey, 3x3 animal cell.
And then that's a killer post workout meal. Yeah.
All right, most underrated part of training.
Most underrated part of training. Ooh. I don't know if any part's truly underrated. I could say leg day.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's everyone's worst nightmare, leg day.
I mean, if you go look at my Instagram, official coach Drew, you'll see leg day is probably my favorite thing ever.
Hey, that's
So-
perfect way because you knew where I was going, man. So, one more thing to wrap this up. Why should people train with you? What makes you so great about being a coach here at Jet? And let people know where they can find you. Look right at that camera and let them know where they can find you.
You find me at Instagram at official coach Drew, spelled DRUW. Don't look up DREW. It's official coach DRUW Drew. And the reason why you should come with me is because I've been with the best. I've seen NFL guys come and go. I've seen NFL guys develop. I've been around the best. I've trained with the best. And if you want to be the best, why wouldn't you come be with someone that knows what they're doing?
All right, go for it.
I was gonna say, even myself in general, I've taken myself from barely being able to have a bar on my back to box squatting 460. So I mean, I've not only been able to train with the best, but I've been able to apply that and make myself, I hate to say it, but I've been able to make myself pretty strong because of it. So I've been able to apply it to myself. I see the work that's done on others. So I mean, if you want to be the best, why not come with someone that's been with the best?
Go train with the best. Make sure you hit them up for personal training, guys. Brother, thank you for a great episode.
Yeah, thank you too. Appreciate it.